Dr. Vinod Deshmukh is an MD and PhD. He retired as a neurologist and associate professor emeritus of neurology at the University of Florida. He has over 60 scientific articles in neuroscience journals. His published books include work based on his practice of poetry, photography, and oil painting. Here are a few of his selected titles: Presence, The Key to Mental Excellence, Poet's Vision, and the Astonishing Brain and Holistic Consciousness, Neuroscience and Vedanta Perspectives. I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Deshmukh. Okay, and here's your water here.
Yeah, thank you. This is a beautiful morning, and I'm so happy to see all of you here. And thank you, Christy and Margaret, for inviting me. Such a beautiful occasion. My topic this morning, neuroplasticity, sounds very complicated, but it's not complicated at all. It is something all of us are going through from moment to moment. So let me start with some simple examples of what neuroplasticity is. One of our nephews and his wife, they live in Hanover, Germany. And they have twins, a boy and a girl. They are 2.5 years old. And believe it or not, they are learning 4 different languages every day. They speak in German, English, Marathi, and Bengali at 2.5 years of age. And it's a play for them. They just love doing it. And they are so immersed in that experience, they forget themselves. And it just, they absorb everything like a sponge. Amazing. That is one example of neuroplasticity. This is at the beginning of life, 2.5 years. Now the other end of the life, actually their great-grandfather, who lives in Pune, India, he just turned 100 years old. And he's a professional artist, but he likes to draw cartoons and have a sense of humor of life. And he's very good at it. He designed and painted covers of a magazine, well-known magazine called Mohini, which is a special issue for Diwali. It's like a Christmas issue or Diwali issue. And he has been doing that for the last 70 years. And everybody loves it. He also holds exhibitions of his many paintings in different cities in India, and they are very popular. There are big lines to see them. And those paintings are sort of humorous. They have a sense of humor. I'll show you one example. He gave this as a gift to us. This is a family with husband walking the camel. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, probably you can see it. Husband walking the camel and wife sitting on the camel. And the baby is in the cradle attached to the neck of the camel. Beautiful drawing, beautiful painting, and very humanistic, touching human heart. So all of us have the potential to keep on repairing whatever damage has been done during our life. In fact, brain is totally active throughout our life. And about 700 neurons are added in the hippocampus every day in all of us. So we are not short of neurons, we are not short of parts, electrical parts. But it's just a question of kind of unlearning the negative thinking and follow the path of positive thinking and certain discipline and kind of self-awareness. And to appreciate life as it unfolds from moment to moment. We are like whirlpool, like an ocean current in the ocean. And we are both individual as well as an essential part of life itself. So we need to appreciate that and appreciate our individuality, our personality, as well as our connectedness to everyone else and the whole life as a whole, the world as a whole. It's one ecosystem. So a kind of formal definition of neuroplasticity. Our brain shapes our experience and our experience shapes the brain. So there is a continuous talk between the brain, mind and self and the world. And one of the main mechanisms is electrochemistry, electromechanics, sort of bioelectricity, neuroelectricity, and also the blood supply, vascular, carrying oxygen, O2, and all that. The formal definition of neuroplasticity, it is the brain's capacity to reorganize itself by forming new connections throughout life, enabling lifelong learning and adaptation. So what are some of the mechanisms of neuroplasticity? How does the brain do that? There are three major groups of mechanisms. One is what is called the synaptic connectivity. Synapse is a junction between two neurons. And the synaptic junction, there is a release of special neurotransmitters like acetylcholine, norepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin. Whenever the electrical impulse comes, it releases a quanta of neurotransmitters. There is a precise relationship, so many molecules of a neurotransmitter per electrical impulse. So there is a close relationship between how much you are dedicated to doing something particular, how much intensity you have, how much effort you put in doing something. So that much more electricity is generated, that much more neurotransmitters are produced, and that much energy you have, both physical and mental. So it's up to us to be fully present, full of energy, and the nature is always empowers us. Nature has limitless energy, infinite energy. And we are all powered by the earth, the ocean, atmosphere, sun, moon, everything empowers us. And we need to appreciate the great connection between nature and us. So, in this synaptic network, there are three major networks in our brain. One is called the salience network. Second is the executive network. And the third is the default mode network. The salience network is like a sentinel. It's constantly watching whether I'm facing, is he a friend or is he a foe? Am I safe or am I in danger? So we are constantly monitoring our environment through this salience network. It is, of course, powered by the reticular formation and the limbic system, including amygdala and anterior gyrus. The default mode network, by its very name, is continuously active, both during day and night, throughout our life. It is right in the middle of the brain, and it has a constant supply even in deep sleep. And this default mode network kind of is self-referential. It keeps track of our own self and our biohistory, our experiences, making sense of our experiences, having the memories, integrate those memories. All that goes on in the default mode network. So it's almost like the foundation or the basis of our sense of self or being. And the executive network is the frontoparietal network, which carries out actions, conscious actions, that I'm facing this and I need to do this. So, or it also modulates our memory. I need to remember this, and then I need to go there, or whatever the instructions are. So we follow those instructions. We are very lucky to have such a beautiful memory system in the human brain. Of course, some of the memory is also there in chimpanzees and other primates. People have actually demonstrated, if you tell a chimpanzee or an animal something crucial, then it holds that information for like 20, 30 seconds and then responds to it accordingly. Same thing happens to a young child. You tell a child, don't eat that chocolate, or eat that chocolate. You don't need to tell, eat the chocolate. He does it anyway. But to tell a child, don't eat that till I come back, or whatever the instruction is, all that is controlled by the frontoparietal network and the prefrontal cortex, because you have to remember the instructions. Same thing in sports. You have to remember the instructions. All games, in chess, you need to know what the instructions are, what the rules of the game are. Otherwise, what difference does it make whether the elephant goes from here to there? So, it is the instructions we need to remember and do accordingly. Second mode of neuroplasticity is what is called homeodynamic or homeostatic organization. The brain continuously maintains optimum levels of oxygen, CO2, pH, blood supply, calcium, sodium, chloride. All these vital elements are maintained. That is called homeostasis or homeodynamics. Same thing even at a higher level of blood supply, the autonomic nervous system is maintained. And even the limbic system, the emotions, you cannot stay angry for a whole day actively, because it dissipates. All emotions dissipate to the silence, just as all sounds and words dissipate into silence, into the baseline. And same is true of our emotions and mental actions and mental states. So in the perfectly healthy, normal state is really before any thoughts, before any emotions, before any speech, before any even breathing. You get peace, calm and peacefulness, like still, silent and serene being. One can experience that, which is amazing. And everything is above that, or everything is down the stream. All mental activity is down the stream. And the source is at the very top of the mountain, where the source is. And that source is divine. That source is amazing. That source is just one for all of us, for the whole life. And we need to appreciate that. And hopefully we can let the source act through us. We are the instrument of that source. We are the expression of that source. Our body, mind, and ego and the self is an expression of that source, and we need to appreciate that. And the third mechanism I already mentioned is neurogenesis. Neurogenesis means the brain continues to produce new neurons, new connections throughout your life. And I already gave you the example of the hippocampus generating about 700 neurons every day in all of us. Thank God for that. That's great. So we need to minimize the wastage of energy, minimize the wastage of unnecessary thinking, dwelling on the past or the future, but stay fully present and focused in the present moment. And each lived moment is a blessing, is a divine grace, it's wonderful. Now in neuroplasticity, there are 3 critical periods. One period is from birth to 2 years. And during this period, there is emphasis on listening and vision and touch and smell and taste, all the sensory or perceptual activity. And the baby learns so much from all of these senses. So it accumulates that experience till about 2 years. About 2 years is not a fixed margin. It can vary a little. Then the next period is like 2 to 3 years to puberty. And during that period, they absorb a lot of words, languages, communication, speech, gestures, playing, creating. Everything is a play. That's why some of the youngsters are genius in that. They can think of all kinds of new things. They can be so creative. So we need to, that's why there is a well-known saying that you need to become like a child, full of curiosity, live life like a play, and be creative, curious and creative. And so that is another aspect. And the third is the adulthood, including the senior years. And all of us have the potential to continuously grow and improve on whatever we have. So always stay positive, curious and creative and present-minded, and stay tuned with nature. Go for a walk in nature, morning and evening. You learn a lot. It's amazing. Now, in order to help after a stroke or after a traumatic brain injury or some of the disorders like Parkinson's disease, cluster headaches, or severe depression, epilepsy, there are many techniques to improve or assist in the recovery and the growth of this condition. But the self-awareness is the key. You need to become aware of your own body, mind and ego and the world you are in, the situation you are in. That self-awareness is critical. And you learn by self-awareness. You learn what's happening in the world as well as what's happening in your body, mind and being. That is the great learning tool that we all have. And I go for a walk in the nature twice a day, morning and evening. I have no plan, no agenda, I'm not in a hurry. I just play around, just walk around in nature. We've been fortunate to have some natural woods, and our street is also fairly scenic. So I just walk around and observe the birds, the fish, the sunrise, the moon setting. And then I get inspired to write poems, write essays. I share my photos almost every day on Facebook or WhatsApp with my friends. And it's a natural thing. It touches you subconsciously in your heart. That's why a lot of people comment about it. Again, I walk one way and then coming back, I walk the other way. So you notice new things. You appreciate new things every time when you take a new path. So that is a good way to learn new things, to notice new things. Then it's good to develop new hobbies like painting, drawing, music, dancing, whatever you feel like, and where you really enjoy it and you can forget yourself. You get totally immersed in it, gardening or whatever. You never look at the clock, you never look at your cell phone. There's no need for it because you are so absorbed in it. You are just full of joy. I could be happy just walking in nature, no matter what happens. So it's a beautiful thing. There is no sense of fear and there is no sense of worry or hesitation. That's a real joy. Also learning some of the established techniques like yoga, pranayama, observing nasal breathing, what is called nadi, is a great science. In fact, more should be known because it depends on the autonomic nervous system. When you are only breathing through the right nostril, it is sort of medium level alertness or sympathetic. When you are only breathing through the left nostril, it is sort of parasympathetic dominance. So you are little low, calm and low energy. And you are breathing through both nostrils, you are more alert, attentive and interactive. And of course, if you are jogging or running, you will breathe through both nostrils as well as through mouth, because that's kind of very high activity. So learn all these things, yoga, pranayama, tai chi, meditation, mindfulness. Mindfulness is the buzzword now, everywhere. There are courses and research in mindfulness everywhere, which is great. It's good to reshape our brain and manage our body, brain and mind from moment to moment, because it's very dynamic. It is extremely dynamic. It changes from moment to moment. And we need to shape it in a positive way, in the optimum way. And we need to learn to be calm and fully present throughout the day and to be able to sleep without much agitation or too many dreams. So deep sleep is very helpful. That's when the brain and the mind heals. Then there are some pharmacological approaches. Because I told you the main neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, acetylcholine. Dopamine is involved in pleasure, joy, happiness. Norepinephrine is involved in alertness, attentiveness. Serotonin in sort of mood. And so all these neurotransmitters can be adjusted. We can have either more or less depending upon the medications. That's what most of the psychiatric medication and therapy is about. Increase the serotonin or decrease the norepinephrine or whatever that they need to do, and there are specific drugs that are used for that. But if you can do it yourself without any medicine, that's even better. Then the third group of non-invasive stimulation techniques, like the electrical stimulation techniques, what are called brain stimulation techniques. And the brain stimulation can be either transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS, or what is called transcranial direct current stimulation. And it can be positive or negative. You can increase the excitability of the brain, or you can reduce the excitability of the brain. And these techniques are researched and being used for management of epilepsy, Parkinson's disease, cluster headaches, severe depression. So a lot of research is being done. Even some people are using it just to increase your ability as a normal person. But that is very debatable. Whether normal individuals should have a helmet with some electrical field around them is very debatable. But some people are trying it. So finally I want to conclude that don't miss the present. Because the present is the so-called ever-present. We call the divine the ever-present, ever-potent, ever-science. So it is ever-present. Don't miss the present. Don't dwell on the past or the future unnecessarily. Of course, if you need to think of something in the past, that's okay. But don't keep talking about it. Don't dwell on it unnecessarily, wastefully. Just out of an habit. Be present wholeheartedly now, leading to the oneness with natural being. The source of all of experiences is that energy, awareness and being. Live from that source being. In inner silence and stillness, we communicate with the source of our being. This source is the one universal whole. We may have an oceanic feeling of oneness, of unity, of the body, mind, self, and the beyond. It is one living reality. Each lived moment is a natural grace, a blessing. This is a short poem that came to me, that dawned on me yesterday. It's called Searching. Earthlings are searching for the earth. Earthlings are searching for the earth. Fish are searching for the ocean. Birds are searching for the sky. And we are searching for the ever-present. We are searching for the ever-present. So much effort to be effortless and natural. So much effort to be effortless and natural. May we recognize the ever-present from every moment. Thank you. One other thing I want to say, that I want to share two of my recently published books. One book was published in January of this year. It is called The Heart of a Rose. The Heart of a Rose, Untying the Self-World Knot. These are about 5 years of my journal entries. Some of them are handwritten, some of them are poems, some of them are thoughts, some of them are line drawings, some of them are paintings. But if you are spiritually inclined, please do go through this. You will enjoy it. And the second book that was published just this month is called The Nature's Delight. I collected my collection of photos that are on my walk every month. So I arranged them month by month, January, February, March, like that. So we can see all the seasons in that. It's a beautiful book just to look at and appreciate the great wonder of nature and life that is divine. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.